Dirty Birds, what's up? And welcome to another Atlanta Falcons podcast. We have an incredible episode, a special episode for you all. It is schedule release day, which is, you know, it feels like the NFL is making the offseason like just tentpole after tentpole.
Yes.
You got free agency, you got the draft, but schedule release is kind of like the final of those until really training camp and OTAs and mini camp and all that starts, which has already started for the Falcons in some form or fashion. We're not here to talk about that. Tori McElhaney joining me today to talk about schedule release. Tori, how you doing?
I'm
you excited?
doing well. I'm really excited. I literally got in this morning and I was like, I'm feeling good about today. Like we got the schedule and I've been perusing it. I have a lot of thoughts. So I know we're going to get into all of it, but some good, some not so good. So we'll get into it. That's your teaser.
It's a good thing we put the microphone in front of your face because I can tell that you do have a lot of thoughts about this. But yeah, I mean, fans got to see last night the entirety of the Falcons schedule. They got to see the schedule release video, which is like such a fun part of this cycle.
Can you please tell the people kind of how we got to the ATL Kart idea? Right? Shout out to like Ryan Delgado, Jackie Kinney, our social team. But this was actually something that I think you pitched very
It was my original. I'm not gonna take credit for Mario Kart.
Right. As a concept.
Right? You know, I think anybody who's ever been on a bachelor trip, like they just are intimately familiar with Mario Kart, right? So maybe there was some residual like effects of that in my brain, but I put it down in our spreadsheet where we kind of go through all of the different ideas that everybody has throughout the season. And yeah, Mario Kart got picked, and it was a lot of fun then seeing, okay, like from ideation to implementation, right? Like, how do we go about that process? Because I think that is honestly something as a 32-year-old man in my professional career, like I'm trying to learn. Yeah. Like that is the next step for me is, okay, you come with all these ideas. How do you get it done and execute it? And it's a lot of compromise. It's a lot of like bumping up against the creativity and the technology and what is possible. So I was really, really proud of everybody. And you mentioned Ryan, Jackie, like Antic, Ellis, all of those guys who have done it, Austin, Jackson, everybody who has been involved, incredible stuff.
Yeah, it was I don't think people realize like the full scope of what has to happen in order to make these schedule release videos that have kind of become the Super Bowl for social media and creative teams for the NFL teams. I honestly, every year I'm blown away by, I think, the time and the effort that's really put in to make these things work. And honestly, I just love how cute little Drake and little Bajan are. Like
they are, yeah.
They're just
like
so cute. And
the little figurines too. I don't know if people saw the we sent them out to different media members, Good Morning Football, things like that. Unfortunately, like one of the last little bits of it was trying to find a 3D printer to actually make all of these.
Right.
So we didn't have them in bulk, you know, maybe if
maybe one day.
Yeah, if people are super into them, who knows? Maybe that's a third-party business that the Atlanta Falcons become a part of, is we're just selling figurines. But I do think that the physical aspect of it made it really cool this year. It kind of like brought the schedule release video literally to life. Yeah. Which was fun. And yeah, it's cute, little Freddy in the little go-kart. Did you have a favorite Easter egg in the video itself? Because I've got two.
You go first because I'm still kind of marinating.
Gotcha. So I don't know if you caught the little Matt Ryan voice tag at the beginning when he says "get effing set,"
yes,
right? Which is a throwback. I believe it was Tampa Bay.
It was,
and
it was like I think it was a Thursday night Tampa Bay game,
2016.
Yeah,
we've
got another.
Keanu Neal like took Mike Evans' soul.
Right,
he didn't actually, because Mike Evans has gone on to be just a phenomenal receiver.
Spoiler alert: we got another Thursday night Tampa Bay game this year.
I love it.
Not to get ahead of ourselves.
Love the synchronicity here, but yeah. So I thought the Matt Ryan callback at the very beginning of the get effing set was great. And then the Bajan juke, I don't know, I said Bajan juke at the end again against Tampa.
Yeah.
Right? So like the little stutter.
That was my favorite. Yeah. I think that was my favorite Easter egg, is like from because I remember that was added, I think, a little late in the process. Mm-hmm. Like it was one of the final times that we all were watching kind of the mock-up. And I can't remember. It may have been you where you were like, We should add that at that little moment at the very end to kind of call back to the Tampa game last year.
I like the Saquon reverse hurdle, the Bijan little juke stutter steps. I'm just a big fan of like the little innovations. I'm still thinking about all the stuff the Detroit Lions did this last year. Like, I mean, I'm a fool for innovation in sports. But that's not really what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about something that's not really that innovative. It's just who are you going to play and when are you going to play them.
And you already knew who you were going to play. It's just the when.
Exactly.
Well, you knew the where and you knew the who, but you didn't know the when.
We did not know the when. So, do you want to read us through the Falcons schedule here as we get ready to dig into specific parts of it? But maybe we do a little bit of a run through.
Yeah, I can. Let me do some stretching because we've got 19 weeks to get through.
It's a little bit of a slog this year, honestly.
It's a slug.
Yeah.
We'll get
I'm
into this.
I'm excited to talk about it.
I have, again, what I said at the top, I have a lot of thoughts, but let's get into it. So, Week 1, Sunday, September 7th at 1 p.m., the Falcons will host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home at Mercedes-Benz Stadium for the home opener.
Division opener. I love it.
Love it. Week 2, Sunday, September 14th at 8:20 p.m. at Minnesota. The first of many primetime games that we're going to get into. Then we've got Week 3, Sunday, September 21st, 1 p.m. at Carolina, a new-look Carolina team, a new defensive-looking Carolina team. I'm really excited about that. Week 4, Sunday, September 28th at 1 p.m., Washington at home. Then, this is a very interesting wrinkle. Week 5, Sunday, October 5th, the Falcons bye week. The earliest freaking bye week. We're going to dive into this.
We'll put a pin in that. We'll start with that.
We'll start with that because I don't know if anyone can just feel kind of like my brain just like bubbling a little bit about that.
It feels like next weekend we've got a bye.
We've got a bye.
Whatever.
Yeah. Okay, Week 6, Monday night, October 13th at 7:15 p.m., hosting the Buffalo Bills. Week 7, Sunday, October 19th, 8:20 p.m. at San Francisco, another primetime game.
Sorry, that's my bedtime.
I know.
I need you to 8:20?
8:20.
Yikes.
Yeah,
right.
8:20 p.m. Eastern time. So
I already mentioned my age on this podcast. I don't think I need to connect any dots there for people. I'm getting old. 8:20. That's pushing it.
It's pushing it. I'm gonna have to call Will you up. Week 8, Sunday, October 26th, 1 p.m. Miami at home. Week 9, Sunday, November 2nd, 1 p.m. at New England. That's actually one of the only stadiums that I haven't been to yet.
Really?
Yeah, I
Okay.
haven't been.
Gillette?
Yeah, I haven't been to Gillette yet.
The best man can get.
Ah, there we go.
No free ads.
Week 10, Sunday, November 9th, 9:30 a.m. because the Falcons are playing the Indianapolis Colts in Berlin, Germany.
What? Let's go.
Going to Germany.
Guten Tag, Danke, Bitte, all of the
There you go.
Junior year of high school, German. What's up?
Oh, you took German in high school?
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. I didn't know that about you. All right. Week 11, Sunday, November 16th, 1 p.m., Carolina at home. Week 12, Sunday, November 23rd, 4:25 p.m. in New Orleans. First time the Falcons will see New Orleans, and who knows what quarterback they'll see.
I was shocked, honestly, when I saw that.
That New Orleans was so...
4:25? Late in the year.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the late in the year.
Right.
Again, if there's any division rival, it's going to be late in the year. Maybe it makes sense for Tampa, given that they're the division winner. But New Orleans is the second on that list for me, and usually the first.
Usually, right.
So it doesn't shock me that they're both late in the year. But the 4:25 slot, and then you'll get to the kind of last one.
Right.
It's interesting. It's got me thinking.
It is. Okay, so then we've got Week 13, Sunday, November 30th, 1 p.m. kick at the New York Jets. Week 14, Sunday, December 7th, 1 p.m., Seattle Seahawks at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Week 15, that Thursday night game that I alluded to earlier, December 11th, 8:15 p.m. kick at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's a big one. If I'm circling one, I'm circling that one.
Okay.
Week 16, Sunday night, December 21st, 4:05 p.m. at Arizona. Then you've got Week 17, another Monday night game, December 29th, 8:15 kick versus the LA Rams at home.
And that's usually, I feel like, the last Monday night game is usually Week 17.
Yeah.
Because they
try
Week 18, everything's on Sunday.
Right. They
Yeah.
usually try to.
Mm-hmm.
I think last year they had a Monday night game thereafter, but I can't remember.
Don't want to get ahead of myself. I got some thoughts on that game.
Okay.
I got some thoughts.
And then finally, to wrap up the regular season, Week 18, day TBD. Date TBD. It could be.
We did all that, and then we ended up with a TBD.
Right. So that week is kind of flexed, so it could either be January 3rd or 4th. The time also TBD, but you're facing the New Orleans Saints at home to close out the regular season. And
love it.
There you go, you guys. That's the 2025 Atlanta Falcons schedule. Let's talk about it, because we all have thoughts.
Thank you so much, Tori, for reading that out. Yeah, let's start with the bye week. Week 5, you mentioned that at the jump. I think when we saw on Tuesday the announcement that Atlanta would be playing in Berlin against the Colts, you know, the natural next thought is, okay, they're traveling overseas. The bye week is probably going to be around that time.
Well, especially because that's week 10.
Exactly. A natural, perfectly normal time to have a bye week. Week 9, week 11, those seem great to me, honestly.
Me too.
But no, the Falcons have a week 5 bye, which the first time when I first saw that, I was like, okay, it's a little bit of the young quarterback thing. Like sometimes I think you see this with teams who have like young players in very key positions. And I have absolutely, let me preface this by saying, I don't know if this is true or not. This is like my own little Will conspiracy theory.
Right.
Is that there's a little bit of a like, let's get under the hood and maybe have a pit stop early in a race type of deal and just see how the car is performing, take stock of everything, and maybe make some tweaks. So I don't dislike having a week 5 bye for that reason. You're going into a season with Michael Penix Jr. as the starter. Yeah, chemistry is going to be the big focal point this offseason, but it's also chemistry that you didn't have all last year developing. So I kind of think having 4 games and then a little break to say, okay, what worked, what didn't? We think back to the screen game last year with Kirk, right? How many times in week like 5 or 6 were we like, all right, I'm good with this. If I don't see it again, I'm fine.
Okay,
and we didn't really see it that much after we kind of like had that coming to like crazy moment. But yeah, I don't dislike the week 5 bye for that reason.
I also think the first 4 teams that you're playing, like that first, like
tough.
Yeah, that's honestly, if I'm kind of thinking of hardest stretches, which I know we'll kind of get into that later, but those first 4 games with Tampa, at Minnesota, at Carolina, against Washington, I think that's honestly one of the more difficult runs that you're going to have. So to have a bye immediately after, to your point, kind of go under the hood a little bit, tweak some things, figure some things out. How are they gelling? How are they not? But as the I guess the other side of your positive coin, I tend to lean a bit more pessimistic, which we've talked about before on this podcast. I hate it. I'm so mad about a week 5 bye. I'm so mad that the first week of October is when the Falcons will be having their bye. I have so many. I'm so mad about this. I'm considering writing a strongly worded email to the league for making us do a week 5 bye, knowing that you have 2 West Coast trips to San Francisco and to Arizona, which again, there's a lot of time between those. The Falcons play at San Francisco in week 7, and they don't play Arizona until week 16. Why was that not maybe pushed together in back-to-back weeks? Like, if you're going to have an early bye and you have 2 West Coast trips and you're going to Germany, what are we doing here?
There's a lot of plane flights that are going to be taking place.
What are we doing? Like, I'm not complaining because I'm super excited for all these games. I'm super excited to see what the Falcons can do. But I think at this day and age, if you have a 19-week schedule and you're playing 17, 18 games, I don't understand why there isn't more thought to potentially having a second bye week. And this is something I've thought for a little bit now.
Tori, they've got to ban the tush push first.
I know they have other things that they have to worry about first.
We've got to think in order of what is most important.
Right, and tush push is number 1. But
Tushy at the top.
I honestly, I'm super disappointed in the fact that Sunday, October 5th is the day that the Falcons will not be playing, because
It's not even going to be cold here yet.
It's going to be 90 degrees.
105 degrees outside as we walk the Beltline.
Yes.
And are just like,
I'm
okay,
I guess I'll go to the beach. Like, I don't even need to go to the beach. I'll just go tan at the pool.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be hot. I don't get it. I'm really upset about it. And it doesn't make any sense to me because also, think about it in this way, too. I do fully 100% believe that the amount of physicality, and I know these are professional athletes, but the human body can only take so much. I'm getting very like metaphysics here.
Yeah.
But like literally you are playing for 3 months straight.
Yeah.
3 months straight without a break. And yes, you could say, oh, there's a mini bye in week 15 because you have that Thursday night game against Tampa after Seattle. But like that's not enough.
That's a brutal stretch.
That's not enough. And also think about it this way too. The Falcons will play a almost full college season after the bye. That's not even getting, let's say they make it to the postseason. Like that is so many games in a row.
Yep.
Without a break, and I don't like it. I don't think that this is the fact that it's like the earliest freaking bye that they could have. Like, couldn't even give them like week 9.
So the last time that the Falcons had a week 5 bye was in 2017. They also went to the playoffs that year. That was the last time they went to the postseason.
Maybe I'm just being pessimistic for no reason. Like maybe this is a good thing. Maybe history.
So that was the first year that I started working for the team. So I remember that fairly fondly. The 3-0 start that they had to that year was the Lions game was dicey in week 1. Packers game was great week 2, but they started 3-0. Then they lost the game before the bye week. Then they lost the next 2 games after the bye week. So they started 3-3. So it's like if you're looking at Atlanta's schedule, you know, Tampa, Minnesota, Carolina, like those are a tough 3 games. Then you got Washington. Like that's 4 games. If they're 3-1 going into the bye week, again, kind of like this past year, I'm going to be pretty thrilled about that.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a really tough stretch out of the gate. But my kind of motto, and I feel like this is maybe the right time to make this declaration for the season, this is a prove it year. Like I know last year they talked about a lot in training camp, but even more so than last year, I kind of think this is the year where the rubber has to meet the road. Let's not talk about what can be done. You got to just go do it. And like right out of the gate, you got to go do it.
Put the ball down and let's go. I
exactly.
mean, and that's, as much as I can talk about, I'm mad about the bye week being in week 5. Like this was the card. These were the cards you were dealt.
And that's kind of why I'm a little bit okay with the bye week being in week 5, because I kind of think that you should come out of the gates guns blazing a little bit. Like you should, the way that we looked at last year, and it was kind of like, all right, you got Pittsburgh in week 1. If you don't pull all of the stops out, that's an AFC opponent, not that big of a deal. If you lose that one, but like, no, right off the jump, division opponent, then you've got a contending team in the NFC, then you've got a division opponent, then you've got a contending team in the NFC.
Right.
Everything has to be full bore, ready to go. So I wouldn't even be surprised if we see maybe a different approach in the preseason. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
Every year is going to be its own contained thing.
Right.
And so I look at the bye week and I wonder the ripple effects that has.
Yeah.
Right. But let's talk about the international game a little bit. They're going to be playing at Olympia Stadion, which is, I looked up on Wikipedia. Actually, hold on. Let me see if I can. Oh, no, the link. Wait, hold on. Let me pull up this link that I've got right here. And then we are going to see and hear how the Wikipedia voice
I'm ready for this.
Actually announced Olympia Stadion, which was hilarious to me and also not repeatable in any way, shape, or form. All right, Jared, let's see if this is going to pick this up. Hold on, we're doing it again.
Olympia Stadion.
Olympia Stadion.
Stadion.
Let's go, German. Junior year German. Let's go. All right, so this was the host site of the 2006 FIFA World Cup final.
Yeah.
Where Italy defeated France 5-3 in penalty shootouts after tying them 1-1. Those are all the facts that Wikipedia gave me in my research for the Olympic Stadium in Berlin, Germany,
Yeah.
where the Falcons will be playing the Colts. But what are your thoughts, just real quick, on that matchup, where it takes place, and the Falcons going to Germany?
I'm very excited that the Falcons are finally getting the chance to go to Germany, and the first game in Berlin. Yes? Yeah, first regular season game in Berlin. So very excited about that. As I think a lot of people know, the Falcons have exclusive marketing rights in Germany. Our German fan base is near and dear, I think, to all of our hearts. It's been really fun getting to know kind of some of our German fans, and I know that Bajan is taking a trip to Germany, so he'll be able to connect with all of those people and sharing.
Is there any like better ambassador, frankly, for like
for anything
ever than
no,
Bajan?
just send Bajan. You need anything like
if we make contact with aliens at any point, Bajan is the one that we send. He's the ambassador for Earth.
Yes, he is 100%. So back to Germany. I'm very excited. I'm very much looking forward to it. The last time the Falcons played internationally was a couple years ago. Went to London, played the Jags at Wembley. That was just such a cool experience, I think, for me personally, and also just for, I think, international fans just in general. I love this, and I love that the Falcons are kind of, again, considering the connection to Germany, that the Falcons are one of the first teams to be able to have this experience.
Yeah, and I've got to say, like, the international fans that I have interacted with, and I'm sure you have as well on social, are lovely. Like, they're amazing. The UK fans, the German fans, any international fan that I've ever interacted with on Twitter, on Instagram, on what have you, like, just excellent. So I love that the Falcons have had an international presence, for a while now. This isn't even the first time they've played the Colts overseas.
Right.
They played them in Tokyo in 2005, and I remember watching that preseason game just as like a little snot-nosed 9-year-old kid being like, oh, the Falcons just went to the NFC Championship game in 2004.
Yeah.
Now they're playing Peyton Manning and the Colts, and like they beat him in that game. It's just like so fun to see the Falcons, I think, on an international global stage. And the first one in Germany, that's going to be electric. The stadium actually seats 74,000, about 500 people, 475. And according to Taryn Walk's Falcons takeoff for the Thursday night game in Week 5, a random one that I just pulled, there were just over 70,000 fans in attendance for that game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So you're going to be in front of a little bit of a bigger crowd. Again, I expect that thing to be fully packed, loud, crazy environment. And you're playing the Colts, who were right there in that middle, like kind of with the Falcons last year. So should be a good game. But the Falcons are going to have a lot of exposure this year. We're talking about that international game. They're also going to be in 5 primetime games.
Yeah.
Did that surprise you at all when you saw 5 primetime games on the schedule?
I don't think it was surprising. I was definitely like pinpointing in my head, okay, 3 or 4. What was really what? The 5th one, I was a bit
like 3 or 4 is it like hopeful 3 or 4?
Yeah, hopeful was 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So getting 5 was a bit like, oh, okay. But I think to your point earlier, it's the young quarterback kind of mantra. People want to see Michael Penix Jr. They want to see what he does with Drake London and Darnell Mooney and Kyle Pitts. And I think that's good for the Falcons, considering that sitting here 2 years ago talking about a team that didn't have a single primetime game. And I think that this is good for the Falcons, but also, as we were talking before we even turned on the mics, it's like it can be a double-edged sword because you're playing in these primetime games, you're playing in these big moments. Are you ready for it? Because all eyes are on you, and these are some big-time games. I mean, you're at Minnesota in Week 2. You're hosting Buffalo on Monday night in Week 6. Back-to-back in Week 7, you're out in San Francisco at 8:20 p.m. I mean, and then you have kind of 3 later games to end out the season, where in Week 15, that Thursday night game at Tampa Bay, Sunday night, 4:05 at Arizona, Monday night, 8:15 against the Rams.
What are they doing? That's like that's our stretch run. Why are we
it's all I mean, I think that the league I honestly, as I'm looking at the schedule, the Falcons have an opportunity to potentially be in the driver's seat of the NFC South. But as we've seen for the NFC South for the last, 5 or 6 years, this thing comes down to Week 15, 16, 17, 18, you know?
Absolutely. And it's kind of like last year we talked about, outrun the South. And that terminology obviously lends itself to like a race or a sprint. This is nothing of the sort.
No.
This is an obstacle course.
Yeah.
This is, you can see all 4 contenders. throughout the entirety, but you're going to lose sight of them throughout kind of the season as it goes, and you're going to be running up and down and over things, and different opponents are going to be getting in the way, and it's kind of like, all right, when you start with Tampa Bay in week 1 and then you end with New Orleans in week 18, what all happens in between there?
Right.
And like, can you put yourself in just striking distance come week 12 when you've got New Orleans again? Actually, come week 11, you've got Carolina, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, New Orleans. Like, starting week 11 on in the way that we looked at kind of the first 6-7 weeks last year, you got 4 division games from week 11 on. So you come back from Germany and your attention turns towards the division and really the conference.
Right.
Because then you've also got Seattle in there, you've got Arizona, you've got LA, you've got kind of the NFC West and the NFC South. Can you take care of those two things? Because honestly, the NFC West is going to be one of the most interesting, I think, divisions this year.
Yes.
Because you've seen almost like a leveling, I think, of that division where San Francisco's come back to the pack a little bit. LA's come back to the pack a little bit. Seattle, I think, is going to take a nice step forward. I don't know why I'm totally blanking on Arizona. And kind of what they did. One of the funniest moments last year was just watching like the season end with the ball like bouncing off of Trey McBride's helmet. I'm so sorry to Trey McBride, who I think the world of. And he's an amazing tight end, but like I cackled a little bit. So yeah, you got the NFC West and the NFC South. Two like decent competitive divisions there. It's an obstacle course this year for the Falcons.
It is. So now that we've kind of gone through the schedule, do we want to do some like rapid fire, like with our favorite parts of it?
Yes.
I know you have some categories that you want us to get
Let's
to.
do it. Yeah. So easiest stretch. Where do you think the Falcons can make a run?
So for me, it starts actually with, I want to say week 9, November 2nd, 1 p.m. at New England, and then the Germany game, and then you're hosting Carolina, and then you're at New Orleans, and then you're at the New York Jets. It's that 5-week time that I think you can make a run.
That's so fascinating to me because I had that, but I actually even had it starting earlier.
I thought about it.
I wrote down literally weeks 8 through 13, but it could even be weeks 7 through 13.
Right. Because San Francisco, again, is not the San Francisco of 3 years ago.
Yeah, they had just like a mass exodus of like all of the players that you know this last year, which on the one hand, like you would think that on paper that makes them a little bit worse, but on the other hand, I'm kind of a little scared of like Shanahan, the mad genius, and like, does he just get guys who are going to listen to exactly what he wants them to do and be like, do this, do this, do this, and then it's all going to work? Because that's happened before. So like, does San Fran have a Taylor Gabriel that just pops up for them the way that he did in Atlanta? Who knows? Miami is a real wild card for me, as is kind of New England. I'm a big Drake May guy. Like, I really liked what he did last year. So for that reason, I could see the stretch starting as early as week 7. I could see the stretch starting as late as week 9 or 10.
Yeah.
So I kind of think that we were both on the same page there. What is your toughest 3-game stretch in this schedule?
So I went back and forth. It's either the first 3 games or I guess the first 3-4 games or the last 3-4 games. Like, I feel like between Tampa, Minnesota, Carolina, Washington, I know you said 3, but those first 4 weeks of the season I think are difficult. But I also think the last 4 weeks of the season at Tampa Bay, at Arizona, against the Rams, against New Orleans, like those, like it's almost like the bookends of the toughest part of your schedule are these bookends of 3 or 4 games.
So yeah, we'll get to that in just 1 second a little bit more. But I did have weeks 15 through 17 written down. So you're right there to kind of identify that stretch with Tampa, Arizona, and LA as a crucial one. But I also had 6 through 8. So we just mentioned San Fran and Miami. If they break and they're good, if those two teams are good and they're very capable, Buffalo, San Fran, and Miami, with 2 of those games being primetime, now all 3 of the games, weeks 15 through 17, are not 1 o'clock kickoffs.
Yeah.
So there's some wrinkles here in this Falcons schedule. But yeah, there are a few tough stretches, and the start of the schedule is definitely no gimme either. What is the make or break month for you?
It's December.
Okay.
And it's December because, one, I think that's, again, to our point, like that's some of the toughest opponents that you're going to face. The
Seattle,
toughest run.
Tampa Bay, Arizona, and LA.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
And New Orleans, if we want to just include January.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that, I mean, we know, again, NFC South has come down to the month of December, to January, time and time again. I think it's probably going to continue to. There's no reason that I should think otherwise.
This is the division that had like different worst to first for like 7 straight years.
Yes.
It's one of the craziest NFL like history stats. If people want to go look it up, it's just like the last place in the division just kept winning it the next year.
Yes.
They just had such turnover.
Also, again, because the bye week is so early, you're really deep into the season without a break. And that concerns me. That worries me. So it really does feel like a make or break month for them.
If I was just to tell you, if you didn't even know the schedule, if I was just to say after the bye week, you have Buffalo, San Francisco, Miami, Seattle, Tampa Bay, and LA, I'd be like, oh, that's tough.
Right.
It's going to be a little tough.
Yeah.
But and that's not even like, that's like half of the teams that you have.
Exactly,
So again,
yeah.
the week 5 of it all really compounds everything. I had December as one of them. I also had September. So it really, like you said, it's just the bookends.
It's the bookends
of this schedule. But as we learned last year, maybe it's not that simple. Saying if the Falcons start hot, hey, playoffs guaranteed, and they did, and then it didn't happen. So you got to play well all throughout. But what is your grudge match that you're most excited about?
Week 4 against Washington at home.
Same.
I am so excited for the Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix Jr. rematch. That game last year was so electric. It was honestly, I think I even said at our end of the year when we gave out our end of season awards, that was my favorite game. It was so much fun. You were just seeing these two guys sling it and do exactly what you drafted them to do. I'm really looking forward to that. And I think, honestly, because it's right before the bye week, like, if you're the Falcons, give it all you got. Like, just turn it up a notch and just kind of, because you're going into a bye week, you should still, knock on wood, be relatively healthy, you'd hope. So I think, like, gosh, kick it into a high gear when you face the Commanders in week 4.
Yeah, does it make it better for you, the fact that DQ is the coach in Washington? Because to me that just like brings it full circle. It's like, cool, you got Raheem, you got DQ, you've got Jane Daniels, you got Michael Penix Jr. Yeah. There's just so much synchronicity. My grandma lives in Washington, D.C., so like, what's up, grandma? I can like just talk trash to her all day. Oh, it's great. Love that. Yeah, I have that exact same grudge match selected. So as purely a Falcons fan, which month are you just raring to sink your teeth into?
It's the first.
It is,
it's
right?
September.
It's
September because there are so many new additions defensively. You still kind of are like super excited to see Michael Penix and his connection with a lot of these pass catchers. And I think that there's a lot of questions about who this Atlanta Falcons team is going to be. And I think we'll be able to tell very early on in September who they're going to be, what they're going to be. And it's because you're kind of playing some big-time competition in that first 4-week stretch. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. I think we'll find out a lot.
You think they're better equipped to start strong or finish strong?
I think they may be better equipped to – here's the thing. I think they may be better equipped to start strong, but I think they're going to need to finish stronger. Like, that's the thing is I think that you can get away with not starting – fairly strong in that first 4 games and pick it up towards the end. The problem though is like you need to do both. Like as we saw last year, like the Falcons had a hot start and you thought they were so far ahead that no one was going to catch them, and then turns out they got caught and surpassed. And so I think that's where it's really tough because I want to see them start hot. I think they have the opportunity to start hot because you have a lot of really awesome pieces that I'm really looking forward to seeing. Mm-hmm. But if you start hot and don't finish strong, as we saw last year, it's not going to matter. Yeah, and that's where like you've got the unique wrinkle of not a rookie quarterback, but like a first-time, full-time starter quarterback, and does a hot start play into that confidence factor for the overall team? Is it, okay, we started slow, but that's okay. We expected it because we're going to build as the season goes along because we've got a younger group. Like, you can kind of talk yourself into justifying any approach, but I agree. Like, I think you got to start hot, even though I think they're maybe a little better equipped to finish strong for that reason. Right. I think they'll be just kind of gelling more and more as the season goes along. If you had to flip any games, though, on the schedule, are there any that you would adjust? Yeah, I absolutely would be moving I think I would be moving Carolina week 11 into the bye week at week 5.
Oh, okay.
So
I like what you're doing there.
Yeah, I'm flipping.
I didn't even think about the bye week.
Yeah, I'm flipping the bye week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm moving Carolina. Yes, that's Carolina. Like
You're going
twice.
at Carolina, Washington, Carolina.
Right,
Yeah.
but I'm okay with that. Like, especially a team like Carolina that there's a lot of new, and with the Falcons there's a lot of new defensively.
Yeah.
I think that it would bode well for you to play them earlier. So that would be my flip, and then that gives you a bye week coming back from Germany, which I wish would have happened.
Yeah, I like that. Actually, this all still works out. So what I was looking at doing was flipping weeks 10 and 7. So I would flip the Germany game to week 7 with the road trip to San Francisco. So you basically have the bye week, a home game against Buffalo, then you'd be taking to the road to go against Germany. Not perfect, but at least you've got the bye week there, and then, a tough match against Buffalo, but at least it's at home, and then you hit the road, and then San Francisco falls a little bit like later on. Just Buffalo, San Francisco back-to-back, both primetime games. Something about that has my,
I
sirens
also,
up.
Just thinking about this, looking at San Francisco, I would honestly switch week 7 at San Francisco with week 15 at Tampa Bay. That way you can have San Francisco and Arizona back-to-back, and you could essentially do like a West Coast trip.
You could, yeah.
Which I think is easier on the body.
You would then have, though, and maybe this is the reason the schedule makers didn't do it, you'd have Seattle, San Francisco, Arizona, LA. You would have the entire NFC West in 4 straight games.
Right, which is not probably what they want to do.
As it stands, you basically have that with Tampa Bay breaking it up.
Yeah.
But yeah. That could be the like ultimate deciding factor where they were like, we got to get this out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and wrap up this show. It's been a lengthy one, but hey, there was a lot to dissect
to talk
here.
about.
What's the one thing that you were circling on this calendar as our outro? It's
exactly what I said about the grudge match. It's that Washington game.
Yeah.
I think Washington caught a lot of people by surprise last season, and
sure.
I thoroughly enjoyed watching that team play, and I thoroughly enjoyed what we saw last year in Washington, or I guess in Maryland, and I'm really, really excited for that rematch specifically.
I'm so glad that this has not been brought up until this moment. It is 100% without a doubt week 17, the LA Rams game. You just traded your first-round pick in 2026 to the LA Rams.
Yeah.
You don't think they have a very vested interest in kicking you out of the playoffs and improving that first-round pick? So I think if we're looking at like closing the season strong, very rarely do you have a team that is probably likely right there in contention with you, maybe for a wild card spot, maybe they're the division lead, but like the LA Rams are contenders. They also own your first-round pick. If you make the playoffs, that is 10 spots worse for them. So it's just uncommon that you see two teams that are on totally different coasts this late in the year being like, I'm looking at you.
Right.
I'm coming for you. The Falcons want to beat the Rams and be like, we justified that pick.
Yeah.
James Pierce sacked Matthew Stafford on 3rd down to win the game. What's up? What's up, Sean? What's up, Les? So who knows? But I'm circling that game. It's going to be a primetime Monday night game, maybe the last one of the year.
Yeah.
It's going to be so much fun.
I love that. I love that pick.
Awesome. Well, I don't know if I fully love the Falcons schedule, but I'm excited that it's here.
These are the cards that were dealt. It doesn't matter if I, Tori McElhaney, like it or not. I will be at every one.
Please go check out all of our great coverage. Go check out the schedule release video if you have not yet. But if you want to go ahead and pre-order your tickets, get them online. We have a lot of different ways to do that. Go buy your tickets for the 2025 season because it's as exciting a season, I think, on the doorstep as I can remember in a while.
It's going to be freaking fun.
It's going to be freaking fun.
Freaking fun. We're going to have fun.
All right. So I hope you guys had fun on today's episode. Please let everybody know where they can find us. But for Tori McElhaney, I'm Will McFadden, and we will see you all next time.